Have you ever wondered why so many older adults wake up around 3 a.m. and struggle to fall back asleep? You might find yourself lying in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling, wondering if something is wrong with your body or your mind. The truth is, this experience is far more common than you may think. And no, it's not just a random habit or an unavoidable part of aging. In this video, we'll explore 5 compelling reasons why older adults often wake up around 3 a.m. and what those early wake-up calls might actually be trying to tell you. Each reason uncovers something deeper about your health, your body's natural rhythms, and your life experience. By the end, you may see your sleep patterns in an entirely new light. These aren't shallow or generic explanations either. They're grounded in real science, including physiology, psychology, and the natural shifts that come with aging, many of which go unnoticed. We'll talk about hormonal changes, sleep cycle adjustments, common health conditions, and even emotional or social influences that quietly shape your nights. And we'll do it with honesty, compassion, and deep respect for the life journey you've lived. So, if you've ever found yourself awake at 3 a.m. asking, "Why now?" you're in the right place. Stay with us. Because what you'll learn here might not just help you sleep better, it could help you better understand and appreciate your body as it changes. 1. Reduced melatonin production. Let's begin by understanding what your body is going through. One of the clearest reasons older adults often wake up in the middle of the night, especially around 3 a.m., is the natural decline in melatonin production that happens with age. Melatonin is the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle, often referred to as your body's internal clock. It plays a crucial role in helping you fall asleep, and more importantly, stay asleep throughout the night. When you were younger, your body likely produced a strong, steady stream of melatonin each evening, helping you drift into long stretches of deep, uninterrupted sleep. But as the years pass, melatonin levels naturally decrease, and that gradual shift can seriously impact the quality of your rest. You might still fall asleep easily at night, especially after a full day or a calm evening. But by the early hours, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, sometimes 4 a.m., your melatonin supply may dip too low to keep you in a restful state. So, you wake up, not because of a noise or a bad dream, but because your brain is quietly shifting back toward wakefulness without enough melatonin to keep you asleep. Here's the key: this isn't your fault. It doesn't mean something is broken or wrong with your body. It simply reflects a natural chemical change that comes with aging. To make matters more challenging, your bedroom environment might be working against you. Even small sources of light, like a blinking alarm clock, light leaking in from the hallway, or a street lamp outside, can further suppress melatonin production. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to environmental cues, making these early wake-ups even more frustrating. Take Harold, for example. He's 72 and used to be a solid sleeper. But recently he's been waking around 3:15 a.m., wide awake, not worried or restless, just alert, as if it's time to start the day. At first, he thought something was wrong. But once he learned this was a normal part of aging, tied to declining melatonin, he stopped blaming himself and started making changes. He began keeping his bedroom darker, avoiding screens an hour before bed, and taking a short evening walk to support his natural circadian rhythm. These simple shifts help signal to his body that it's still nighttime. While he still wakes early on occasion, Harold has learned to work with his body, not against it. And that kind of understanding is powerful. Because when you realize your 3 a.m. wake-up isn't a personal failure, but a natural biological shift, you can stop fighting yourself and start making choices that support your sleep. That's the power of awareness. It transforms frustration into compassion and helps you care for your body with greater wisdom and grace. 2. Shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another significant reason older adults tend to wake up around 3 a.m. is due to a natural shift in the body's internal clock, a phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase. As we age, our circadian rhythms, the natural patterns that guide our sleep and wake cycles, start to move forward. This means we begin to feel sleepy earlier in the evening and naturally wake up earlier in the morning. You might notice yourself drifting off during a late-night movie or waking up at dawn, even without an alarm, on mornings when you wish you could sleep longer. This shift isn't simply a habit. It's deeply rooted in biology, and it often becomes more pronounced with age. In your younger years, your body's rhythm likely aligned with a later bedtime and a wake-up time that matched the rising sun. But over time, that rhythm starts to advance, and your ideal sleep window quietly shifts forward. You may find yourself falling asleep at 9 p.m. or even earlier, without meaning to. So by 3 a.m., your body might feel well-rested and ready to wake, even if the world around you is still fast asleep. This doesn't mean something's wrong. It simply means your body is operating on a new schedule, one that's been gradually reset over time, ticking forward just a little more with each passing year. While this shift isn't dangerous, it can feel frustrating, especially if your daily routine, household responsibilities, or personal preferences don't align with this new rhythm. There's also a quiet psychological side to this change. Many older adults live in quieter, more peaceful environments, spending more time alone or in stillness. Without the busyness or noise that once delayed bedtime, like work, social activity, or caring for children, your body begins to wind down earlier each evening. And if you're retired or no longer bound by a structured daily schedule, the lack of external time cues, like meetings, commutes, or social events, can make this internal clock shift even stronger. Take Charles, for example. He's 68 and retired. He usually eats dinner around 5:30 p.m., watches a bit of TV, and by 9 p.m., he's asleep. By 3 a.m., his body naturally feels ready to start the day. He doesn't feel anxious or stressed, just alert and awake. At first, Charles assumed he had insomnia. But after learning about advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep wasn't broken, it was simply rescheduled. He started adjusting his evening routine, staying up just a little longer with gentle activities, like reading, stretching, or quiet conversation, to help shift his bedtime slightly later. These subtle adjustments gave him more restful mornings, and helped him feel more in control of his body's rhythm. He started incorporating small, meaningful changes. Reading a book under warm, gentle lighting, taking a short walk after dinner, and occasionally calling his daughter for a quick bedtime chat. These subtle social and sensory cues helped stretch his sleep window just enough to delay his wake-up time closer to sunrise. The result? Fewer 3 a.m. awakenings, and a deeper sense of alignment between his body's rhythm and his daily life. This natural shift in the sleep cycle is something many older adults experience, yet few talk about openly. Understanding it can lift a great deal of guilt, confusion, and frustration, and offer a more compassionate way to work with your body rather than trying to fight it. So if you're waking up around 3 a.m. and it feels like you've already had a full night's rest, chances are your body is simply operating on an earlier internal schedule. And once you understand that, you can begin to shape your evening routine in ways that support your sleep and your well-being. If you found this part of the video helpful, feel free to comment number 2 below to let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that informs and inspires. 3. Physical discomfort and health-related interruptions. Another common reason older adults wake up around 3 a.m. is due to the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health conditions, many of which tend to surface quietly during the night. As we age, the likelihood of facing chronic conditions increases. And unlike a blaring alarm clock, many of these issues don't shout, they whisper. A sore joint, a full bladder, a sudden twinge in your lower back. These seemingly small discomforts are often enough to pull you out of a deep sleep, especially during the more fragile hours of the early morning. Take arthritis, for instance. It may not bother you when you first fall asleep, but after several hours of lying in one position, stiffness or pain can build up, eventually waking you. For others, it's nighttime acid reflux, often triggered by late dinners or lying down too soon after eating. That burning sensation may not be intense enough to cause daytime issues, but in the quiet of night, it becomes impossible to ignore. Even minor factors like dry mouth, muscle cramps, or a slight drop in room temperature can lead to early awakenings, especially when your body is more sensitive and less forgiving than it used to be. One of the most common physical reasons older men wake up at 3 a.m.? The need to urinate. As we age, the bladder becomes less elastic. The urge comes on faster and more frequently. During the day, you might not notice it thanks to distractions. But at 3 a.m., in a dark and silent room, that urge can become impossible to ignore. And once you get up, even just to use the bathroom, your body may shift from deep rest to light alertness, making it more difficult to fall back asleep. Then there's the issue of medications. Many older adults take prescriptions for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management. Then there's the issue of medications, something many older adults rely on daily. Drugs prescribed for blood pressure, heart health, chronic pain, or even anxiety often come with side effects that can interfere with sleep. Some medications may cause frequent urination. Others may increase restlessness, disrupt REM cycles, or even cause vivid dreams or night sweats. You may not realize it, but the timing of your medication can make a difference. Taking certain pills too late in the day can amplify their impact during the night, subtly contributing to those early wake-ups. And while these changes might seem small, they accumulate, especially during the quieter hours of the night, when your body is more reactive and your mind is more attuned to discomfort. Understanding the role of physical health in sleep is crucial. It's not just about being older, it's about recognizing the real, physiological reasons why your body might struggle to stay asleep at certain hours. If you're frequently waking at 3 a.m. and suspect discomfort may be the cause, don't ignore it. Talk with your doctor about what you're experiencing. Sometimes, a simple adjustment, like changing your sleep position, modifying your medication schedule, or introducing a light stretching routine before bed, can dramatically improve your nights. Because sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about supporting your body in all the small, specific ways it now asks for care. Sleep disruptions caused by physical discomfort aren't always dramatic, but they are real. And most importantly, they are valid. They don't make you weak. They don't mean your body is broken. They just mean your body is speaking a little more loudly than it used to, asking for attention, care, and adjustment. The good news? With awareness, you can respond thoughtfully, gently, and proactively. You can fine-tune your evenings and your sleep environment in ways that support your changing body, helping you reclaim the rest you truly deserve. Because good sleep in later life isn't about chasing perfection. It's about meeting your body where it is and giving it the compassion it's earned. Medications often come with side effects, some subtle, others more obvious, that can quietly interfere with sleep. Frequent urination, fluctuations in body temperature, or increased sensitivity to noise and light are just a few examples. You may not even connect the dots between your prescriptions and your restless nights until someone points it out, or until you start tracking your sleep and habits more closely. Take Ella Lehner, for example, a 76-year-old woman who had always considered herself a light sleeper. Over the past year, she began waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. At first, she chalked it up to age. But after speaking with her doctor, she discovered that one of her medications was affecting her hydration levels, leading to more frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom. With her doctor's support, she adjusted the timing of her dosage, made a few gentle lifestyle tweaks, and now sleeps more soundly, waking less often and returning to sleep more easily when she does. And here's the most important thing to remember. Waking up doesn't mean your body is failing. In fact, it often means your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, noticing changes, responding, and asking for support. These wake-up signals can be opportunities, gentle nudges to listen more closely, care more intentionally, and make smarter, more compassionate choices. Because even a 3 a.m. interruption can carry a quiet message. It's time to check in. 4. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful but often overlooked reason older adults find themselves waking around 3 a.m. has to do with daily lifestyle habits. Simple routines and subtle choices made over time can gradually reshape your internal sleep rhythm. As people age, it's common to eat dinner earlier, wind down sooner in the evening, and experience reduced physical activity during the day. Individually, these habits may seem harmless, even helpful. But collectively, they send a strong signal to the body. The day is ending earlier. And when your evening routine begins earlier, your wake-up time shifts earlier too. As life grows quieter, especially after retirement, Your body no longer receives the same external cues it once depended on. Commuting, running errands, engaging in physically or mentally stimulating activities. Without those consistent signals, your sleep-wake cycle may start to shift forward naturally. A calm, dimly lit evening with little stimulation can prompt your brain to produce melatonin earlier, making you feel sleepy, sometimes even before the clock strikes 9 p.m. And once you fall asleep earlier, your body simply completes its rest earlier, leading to wake-ups in those still, pre-dawn hours, often right around 3 a.m. There's also a quiet connection between when you eat and how you sleep. While eating dinner early is often considered healthy, it can sometimes lead to a drop in blood sugar overnight, especially if there's no light snack before bed. That drop might not feel like hunger, but it can still be enough to pull your body out of sleep. Caffeine is another subtle disruptor. Even if consumed in the early afternoon, it can linger in your system, especially as your metabolism naturally slows with age. That lingering effect can lighten your sleep, making you more sensitive to any small disturbance during the night. Take Walter, for instance, a 74-year-old who recently retired. Gradually, his days became less structured. His evenings grew more relaxed. He started eating supper at 5 p.m., nodding off in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. Without realizing it, his entire rhythm had shifted several hours earlier. Before long, he found himself wide awake at 3 a.m., puzzled and frustrated, wondering why he was up before even the birds began singing. But after taking time to reflect on his habits, Walter began making small but intentional changes. He added a short walk in the late afternoon, switched to reading in brighter light during the evening, and avoided napping after dinner. These simple adjustments helped push his natural sleep window later, bringing his wake-up time more in sync with the morning light and his daily rhythm. What's truly remarkable is how often we underestimate the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm. Daily patterns act as cues, quiet signals that tell your brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. And when those signals begin to shift or fade, the internal clock can lose its bearings, resulting in earlier, lighter, and more fragmented sleep. By noticing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it's entirely possible to gently guide your body back into a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disrupted. And that's the key, not forcing change, but inviting balance. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, feel free to comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on the bell so you don't miss future content. Your support helps us continue creating videos that inform, uplift, and inspire. Our bodies crave rhythm. Daily patterns act as cues, quiet signals that tell your brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. And when those signals begin to shift or fade, the internal clock can lose its bearings, resulting in earlier, lighter, and more fragmented sleep. By noticing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it's entirely possible to gently guide your body back into a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disrupted. And that's the key, not forcing change, but inviting balance. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, feel free to comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on the bell so you don't miss future content. Your support helps us continue creating videos that inform, uplift, and inspire. For many older adults, social circles shrink over time. Children move away. Friends become busy. Routines shift. The days might still feel full, but nighttime brings quiet, and with it, a deeper awareness of emotional gaps that may have formed. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy or overwhelming. Sometimes, it simply shows up as a subtle longing for connection, or a quiet ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Take Gloria, for example, an 80-year-old widow. During the day, she keeps herself busy, tending to her garden, chatting with grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. Around 3 a.m., she often finds herself waking up, her thoughts drifting to memories of her late husband, or to quiet worries she's kept tucked away during the daylight hours. At first, Gloria assumed there was something wrong with her sleep. But over time, she came to understand, her early waking wasn't about sleep at all. It was her heart asking to be heard. To support herself through these quiet awakenings, Gloria began keeping a small journal by her bedside. When she wakes up, she sometimes jots down whatever's on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest, grounding thoughts. She also introduced a calming evening ritual, listening to soft music, or writing a short note to a friend. These little acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. Because here's the deeper truth. The human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember. It asks the questions it needs to ask. And sometimes, it does all of this at 3 a.m., when everything else is finally quiet. But that's not a flaw. That's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking up and feeling reflective, it might mean you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be acknowledged. You've lived through joy, through heartbreak, through change. And those experiences don't just shape your memories, they shape your very sense of self. Rather than seeing these wake-ups as something to fix, try meeting them with curiosity and kindness. Ask yourself, what is my mind trying to tell me? What part of me needs to be heard? What part of me needs a little grace, even in the dark? Because sometimes, the most meaningful kind of rest doesn't come from ignoring these moments. It comes from honoring them. And in doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but a deeper sense of peace with yourself, but a richer understanding of yourself in this season of life. Final thoughts. As we wrap up, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated most with you? Was it the shift in your internal clock? The subtle physical changes? Or perhaps something deeper, an emotional rhythm that only makes itself known when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a unique lens through which to understand your early morning wake-ups. And none of them point to something wrong. In fact, each one reveals just how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, still adapting as you move through this stage of life. There is a quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to say, especially in those soft hours before dawn. And rather than seeing a 3 a.m. wake-up as a nuisance, you might begin to see it as a message, a gentle signal, reminding you to listen more closely to your needs, your habits, and your heart. You are not alone in this experience. And you are certainly not the only one searching for answers. But with insight comes strength. And with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes. Changes that lead to better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own natural rhythm. If any part of this video spoke to you, know this. You're not just aging, you're evolving. And with that evolution comes a beautiful opportunity to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself more gently, and to greet each morning with a little more understanding and a little more peace. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your thoughts truly matter to us, and reading your reflections gives us the motivation to keep creating meaningful content for you. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue to create content that informs, encourages, and uplifts. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.